to Indiana, which I think everyone agrees right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces, of course, Caitlin Clark, to now an immediate contender with all the moves that they've.
They had you believing Sue Bird would ease the hype. Think again. She took one look at the Indiana Fever's championship chatter and shut it down. Slow your roll. Caitlin Clark's talent is undeniable, but titles aren't won with social media buzz or viral dances. Let's break down the bold takes and hard truths.
On that, for most people, took it to another level. So now you're like, oh, they're a contender.
Sue Bird just shook up the entire WNBA with one bold take. And no, this wasn't some mild, the Fever could be solid remark. She went all in, claiming Indiana isn't just making progress. They're real championship contenders.
I'm sure the way they're approaching this season has changed. I think the biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Steph. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap, because as we go along, we're going to talk about Vegas and Seattle, Atlanta. It's really going to be which
Stephanie
team.
White being the head coach.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Was the head coach of Connecticut, now the head coach of Indiana.
Yeah.
Now pause for a second. Let that sink in. This is Sue Bird talking. A walking basketball encyclopedia. A woman who has played, won, and outsmarted defenses at the highest level for 2 decades. She's seen super teams. She's been on them. She knows exactly what it takes to win championships. So when she says something like this, it's not for clicks. It's not for fun. It's because she sees something.
Sue Bird is one of the greatest point guards of all time in the WNBA. And she's someone who obviously is a part owner in the Seattle Storm. So hyping up another team is a bit of a conflict of interest if we're being.
But Sue Bird just pulled out a seat at the grown-ups table for them. She's telling the league, asterisk, listen up, this isn't just a feel-good storyline. This team is here to ruin your season, asterisk, and honestly, she's probably right. Because this isn't just about Caitlin
Pay attention.
Clark. Yeah, Caitlin's a game changer. She can pull up from the logo and make it look routine. But if you think Sue's praise is only about Caitlin, you don't get how her basketball mind works. Sue sees a foundation. She sees a team that's been grinding, evolving, and putting in the work, especially since Caitlin
against the champions that have been added to this bunch.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships. I think is exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. And I know the front office obviously really prioritized that and looking for the pieces that we wanted to add. So really thankful.
Let's get one thing straight. Sue Bird doesn't toss around the words title contender for fun. This is a woman who built her entire legacy on precision. On the court, off the court, with her words, with her passes. If she says Indiana has something special, she's not speculating. She's telling you what's coming now. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. Championships aren't won in February. But what Sue is making crystal clear, and what people need to understand, is that Indiana isn't just a young, exciting team. They're not just here to grow. They're here to win. They're here to chase something real, and that should send a chill through the rest of the league, because the most dangerous force in sports isn't just talent. It's talent with belief. It's talent with momentum. It's a team that's been told, you're not ready yet. And answers, watch as Sue Bird sees that belief.
T. Mitchell's balling, Caitlin continuing to impress, and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple of years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record.
Talk about Cheryl Swoops, because that take about real talent, never choosing Indiana, is aging like one of those cold takes that gets replayed with dramatic music. Against all odds, players are choosing Indiana. Players want to be there. And let's be real, it's because of Caitlin Clark. She's the headliner.
Indiana.
The box
Players
office
want
draw.
to be there.
The reason Indiana suddenly feels like the center.
And a Fever team.
They getting paid in what?
That are no, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Indiana is no longer some forgotten, struggling franchise. They're building something real, and when someone like Sue Bird says, this team is about to be a serious problem, you better believe players around the league are paying attention. Because
Just
Sue
throwing
doesn't
out
hand
compliments for
praise just
fun.
to fill airtime.
She's no league or
She's
listening.
not on TV throwing
Because
around
Indiana is
empty
no
hype
longer some
when she
it's because
speaks.
they're building
It's because
something
she
real,
sees
ball
something.
sense with
And what she
plan
sees
to
is a
allow
team
Caitlin
that
Clark
isn't sitting
express her.
back,
This isn't a
waiting for
team just
success.
banking on
They're
Caitlin
hunting
Clark
it
to
down
save.
look at the moves.
And what she sees
This
is a
isn't
team that isn't
clinging to
waiting for
Caitlin
success.
Clark as a savior. They're stacking up pieces that make basketball
They're
sense.
hunting it down.
Building a system
Look at the
designed to
moves
let
of
Caitlin
them.
fully unleash
They've been
her
And yeah, there's a narrative out there that Kathy made the call. All right, Kathy Engelbert. Oh, we got to make sure we get Caitlin Clark the championship. And I told you there's narrative floating. Number one, they're freaking out. Number two, the next thing you're about to hear is Caitlin Clark needs a super team to win a championship. So they're going to downgrade her status, and they're going to shit on her over that. It's already started. That's where they're going with this, folks.
Free agents are looking at Indiana differently now. It's no longer just a place to rack up minutes. It's a place where you can win, the place where you can play under the bright lights, on national TV, in front of a surging fan base. Most importantly, it's a place where you can join a young core that's only going to get better. That's what Sue Bird recognizes. That's what she's been vocal about. She sees what's coming. And the funniest part, a lot of people refuse to see it until it smacked them in the face. Indiana went from being a WNBA afterthought to one of the most talked about teams in the league. And not because of hype, because of real basketball reasons. Sue Bird sees a trajectory. She sees a team that isn't just hoping to be great, they're working to be great. So for anyone still doubting the Fever, still questioning Caitlin Clark's
Sydney Colson is joining the Indiana Fever. What does that mean? Indiana is just being so fucking greedy right now. They took DB. They took Natasha. Now they got Sydney Colson. Like, why would they take Sydney from us?
Sue Bird isn't just glancing at the Fever's roster. She's analyzing the entire blueprint. And one key detail she sees, which many are overlooking. Stephanie White is the ideal coach for this moment. This isn't a gamble. This isn't a let's see what happens hire. White has been in this position before. She understands how to...
From the Aces, she is 100% vibes. She is 100% going to be a backup for Caitlin. It's going to be fantastic backup for Kelsey. Like, she is a great addition to this backcourt. She has senior leadership. She has championship experience. She is the most fun ever. And Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever front office is not messing around. They are putting everything in place to make sure that this year is a championship caliber team, and every addition it gets better and better and better.
The WNBA's funniest player just did something nobody expected. She left her MVP bestie Asia Wilson to come back up Caitlin Clark. Sydney and Asia were inseparable in Vegas, cracking jokes, dominating the league, and turning the Aces locker room into a comedy show. And yet, Coulson just made the move to Indiana. That's not random. That's a sign. People aren't just watching the Fever from a distance anymore. They want in. They want to be part of this movement. Coulson could have stayed with the reigning champs, but instead, she's backing up Caitlin Clark, the most hyped rookie in years. And it's not just about basketball. Coulson is the kind of player who brings chemistry, energy, and experience to a locker room. She's the type of veteran who elevates the team, even from the bench. Put it all together, and the message is clear. Indiana isn't waiting. They're not here for moral victories or good effort seasons. They've built a roster to win games right now.
Coulson is going to the Indiana Fever. I don't think anyone saw this in the cards, literally. I personally feel like it's a good pickup. I think it's a well upgrade over Erica Wheeler. No shade to her. I know a lot of people are like surprised as to why she didn't stay in Vegas. And in all honesty, there's a lot of reasons why she may feel called to leave the Aces.
While other teams are still figuring out their lineups, the Fever have players who already fit together. Players who bring toughness, leadership, shooting, defense, and the kind of mentality that wins championships. And if the rest of the WNBA isn't paying attention yet, they will, soon. The WNBA thought they had time, thought Indiana would need a couple of seasons to figure things out, thought Caitlin Clark would go through some rookie struggles before making an impact. Yeah, about that. The Fever are out here steamrolling expectations before the season has even tipped off. The roster, stacked. The chemistry, already clicking. And Caitlin Clark? She's coming for MVP. The WNBA wanted a competitive season. Well, congratulations. Indiana just turned the heat up. If you're still doubting them, buckle up. Because when that first game tips off and Caitlin Clark starts launching threes like they're heat-seeking missiles, it's going to get real uncomfortable for a lot of people who thought the Fever weren't ready. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.